everybody. I'm Karen Hartglass, and this is the Real Good News in Review. When I was a little girl, chocolate was a favorite treat. The best candy to get in a trick-or-treat bag on Halloween was a Hershey's bar with almonds. We went on a school trip to the Hershey's plant in Pennsylvania, and I marveled at the sweet-smelling melted chocolate in these giant vats. And I loved watching the Hershey's Kisses on the assembly line marching down like little soldiers. It was heavenly. I think the Nestle's Crunch Bar was my second favorite. And as I got older, I enjoyed the smoother taste of the Cadbury bar. I thought I was so sophisticated eating Cadbury milk chocolate. In January of this year, the Hershey's company Let's Buy British Imports agreed to stop importing all Cadbury chocolate made overseas. Cadbury chocolate in Britain has a higher fat content. The first ingredient listed on a British Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate bar is milk. In an American-made Cadbury bar, the first ingredient is sugar, and it also includes different emulsifiers that reduce the viscosity of chocolate, giving it a longer shelf life. I can't tell you which I prefer, the British or the American, because I haven't eaten a Cadbury bar in almost 30 years. In a recent press release, Nestle USA announced its commitment to removing artificial flavors and FDA-certified colors like Red 40 and Yellow 5 from all of its chocolate candy products. By the end of 2015, more than 250 products and 10 brands, including Nestle's Crunch, will be free of artificial flavors and certified colors. The good news is, Nestle is making these changes because consumers want more natural products. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going far enough. I don't eat Hershey's, Cadbury, Nestle, or Mars chocolate anymore. Hershey's and Cadbury don't make chocolate without dairy milk ingredients. Nestle and Mars don't make vegan products. If you know anything about the milk industry, you will know the horrors that the cows endure. Cows must become pregnant and deliver offspring in order to produce milk. They are artificially inseminated or raped, separated from their calves within a day or two of birth, and made pregnant again and again until they are spent and slaughtered for their meat. Their calves are typically raised for a brief period in confined conditions, fed an iron-poor formula that keeps their flesh tender and bones weak until slaughtered for veal. Now, for those of us that want to avoid dairy and chocolate because of the cruelty involved or because of a dairy allergy, the good news is that the best chocolate, the ones that chocolate connoisseurs love, is dairy-free dark chocolate. In a recent FDA study, 100 dark chocolate bars were tested for the presence of undeclared milk. They found that a high proportion of the dark chocolates tested contained milk, even when the label failed to list milk as an ingredient. Chocolate samples that had no statement regarding milk on the label, as well as some of the chocolates labeled dairy-free, were found to contain milk. While dark chocolates labeled dairy-free or allergen-free were the least likely to contain milk, 2 out of the 17 of these products were found to contain milk. All 7 bars that declared the presence of milk on the label contain milk. However, 55 of the 93 bars without any clear indication of the presence of milk were also found to contain milk. 6 out of the 11 chocolate products labeled traces of milk contained milk at detectable levels high enough to potentially cause severe reactions in some individuals. Chocolate has been around for a long time, with evidence of chocolate beverages back in 1900 BC in Mesoamerica, a region extending from central Mexico to northern Costa Rica. The seed had so much value at one time it was used as a form of currency. Originally, chocolate was served as a bitter, frothy beverage mixed with spices, wine, or corn puree. In the 16th century in Spain, sugar was added to it, and the chocolate craze was ignited, quickly spreading to Europe and beyond. Now, we've heard a lot of good news about chocolate, especially concerning dark chocolate, since it's loaded with antioxidants and magnesium, iron, copper, manganese, along with plenty of potassium, phosphorus, zinc, and selenium. The love for chocolate, which developed between early 17th and late 19th centuries, unfortunately brought with it a thriving slave market. What may be hard to believe is that the association with slavery and chocolate still exists today, specifically with child slavery in West Africa. And there has been relatively little progress made to reduce or eliminate this terrible practice. I believe we must avoid buying chocolate from companies that use child labor with practices that violate international labor laws. But how do we know which companies use child slaves? The good news is that you can check the chocolate list created by Food Empowerment Project, the organization founded by Lauren Ornelas. The list reflects Food Empowerment Project's most recent research on companies that make vegan products containing chocolate to find out if they source their chocolate from areas where slavery can still be found. Every time I check back to see this list, there are more brands of chocolate the Food Empowerment Project feels comfortable recommending. And that's good news. Aside from slavery, is there anything else you should be concerned about when buying chocolate? Yes, there is. Is there cadmium in your chocolate? Cadmium is a naturally occurring metal used in batteries and found in cigarette smoke. Cadmium and cadmium compounds are known to cause cancer. Cadmium can be toxic to the kidneys, can soften the bones, causing bone pain, and may affect fetal development. Last year, ConsumerLab.com published results of their analysis of cocoa products, including 9 brands of cocoa powder for flavanols, caffeine, theobromine, and heavy metals. All but one of the cocoa powders had high levels of cadmium. The American Chemical Society published a study in August of 2014 entitled Cadmium and Lead in Chocolates Commercialized in Brazil. Samples with 5 different cocoa contents ranging from 34 to 85% from the same brand were analyzed, and the results showed that chocolate might be a significant source of cadmium and lead ingestion, particularly for children. The organization As You Sow began extensive independent laboratory testing of 42 chocolate products for lead and cadmium. They found that 26 of the chocolate products contain lead and or cadmium at levels in which 1 serving exceeds the California safe harbor level for reproductive harm. They filed notices with 16 manufacturers, including See's, Mars, Hershey, Godiva, Ghirardelli, Lindt, Green and Black's, Kroger, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Earth Circle Organics, Moonstruck, Teo, and Vosges for failure to warn of lead and or cadmium in their chocolate products. It doesn't seem to matter if your favorite brand of chocolate is a luxury brand, an inexpensive brand, or organic. According to As You Sow, Scharfenberger, Dagoba, Organic Dark Chocolate, See's Candies Premium Extra Dark Chocolate, and Trader Joe's Pound Plus Dark Chocolate all contain high levels of lead and or cadmium. And just because your chocolate hasn't been listed doesn't mean it doesn't contain cadmium or lead. It just means it hasn't been tested. I reviewed the results from ConsumerLab.com and As You Sow and cross-checked them with all of the chocolate products listed at the Food Empowerment Project. The good news is that there is one vegan chocolate that does not contain dangerous levels of cadmium or lead and has also been recommended by the Food Empowerment Project for not sourcing their chocolate from areas where slavery is found. That chocolate is Endangered Species Dark Chocolate. We like this company and their dark chocolate. Keep in mind that this brand is produced on equipment that also produces products containing milk, peanuts, soy, and tree nuts. All of this information is unsettling. As a vegan, I always had the understanding that new chocolate companies wanting to make vegan chocolate often had to rent or lease chocolate making equipment that processed milk containing products. Many of us made the concession to support these vegan businesses, believing that the machines were adequately cleaned, and if there were trace amounts of dairy, it was something not noticeable. Now the FDA is telling us something different. You may want to contact manufacturers to find out how they control for allergens or non-vegan products such as milk during production. If a company is not transparent, their products should be avoided. The good news is there are a few trustworthy chocolate companies out there, and my new favorite is Pascha, allergen-free organic dark chocolate, which is free from peanuts, nuts, dairy, soy, eggs, wheat, and gluten. And it's delicious. Let's look at the bright side. We have the Food Empowerment Project and As You Sow, along with the FDA, uncovering what we need to know about chocolate. It's up to each one of us to be informed. If you have a favorite chocolate and you want to know if it's free of cadmium, lead, dairy, and cruelty, I recommend contacting the company and asking them. The more each one of us takes action, letting companies know we want real food without toxic chemicals, real food produced without exploitation of people and animals, the better it will be for all of us. And that's the Real Good News in Review. I'm Karen Hartglass. Now over to Gary in the Transition Kitchen.